Every 4 years, on a crisp January day, history unfolds in Washington, D.C. The president-elect stands on the steps of the U.S. Capitol, facing a sea of people and the iconic National Mall stretching toward the Washington Monument. With just 35 words, they take an oath that has echoed through centuries, marking the peaceful transfer of power, a cornerstone of American democracy. But have you ever wondered what goes into creating this extraordinary day? Let's uncover the process behind the pageantry. The swearing-in ceremony is the heart of Inauguration Day, the moment when the president-elect officially becomes the President of the United States. It's a simple yet powerful tradition that carries centuries of history. Typically, this grand event takes place on the west front of the U.S. Capitol, with the National Mall stretching out as a breathtaking backdrop. Imagine standing there, surrounded by thousands of spectators, with the Washington Monument and Lincoln Memorial in the distance. It's truly a sight to behold. At the center of it all is the Presidential Oath of Office, a mere 35 words, yet they hold immense weight. It's outlined in the U.S. Constitution, and every president since George Washington has spoken these words. I do solemnly swear to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Short, right? But those words symbolize the president's commitment to the nation and its democratic values. It's often administered by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, adding another layer of tradition. Here's an interesting twist for 2025. The ceremony is being moved indoors to the Capitol Rotunda because of extreme cold, something that's only happened twice before in history. The last time was in 1985, during Ronald Reagan's second inauguration. Even with this change, the significance of the moment remains the same. Once the oath is taken, the new president steps into the spotlight to deliver their inaugural address, a defining moment that sets the tone for their presidency. This speech isn't just a formality. It's their chance to share their vision, inspire the nation, and address the challenges and hopes that lie ahead. For many, this is where the weight of leadership truly begins to show, and the president connects with the American people as their commander-in-chief. Over the years, inaugural addresses have given us some of the most memorable lines in history. Who can forget John F. Kennedy's iconic words in 1961? Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Or Franklin D. Roosevelt's reassurance during the Great Depression in 1933. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. These speeches stick with us because they capture the spirit of the times while offering hope and determination for the future. If those words gave you goosebumps, just wait, because the real show is about to hit the streets. Subscribe now as we get into the marching bands, waving flags, and the electrifying energy of this historic celebration. The inaugural parade is where tradition meets celebration. After the swearing-in ceremony and inaugural address, the newly sworn-in president and vice president make their way from the Capitol to the White House in a procession that feels like a national festival. The route along Pennsylvania Avenue is steeped in history and lined with spectators waving flags and cheering. It's not just a journey, it's a showcase of America's diversity, culture, and unity. The parade is packed with vibrant displays. Picture marching bands playing patriotic tunes, military units showcasing their precision, and cultural organizations from all over the country representing the rich tapestry of America. Every detail, from the uniforms to the music, reflects the spirit of celebration and pride in the peaceful transfer of power. This year, the 2025 parade, too, is moving indoors to the Capital One Arena. Even though it's a shift from the traditional outdoor route, the energy and enthusiasm will be just as high. Spectators will still enjoy the music, performances, and symbolic displays, which brings us to the inaugural balls. After a full day of ceremonies, parades, and speeches, it's time to let loose and celebrate. The inaugural balls are the glamorous grand finale of Inauguration Day, where the president, vice president, their families, and supporters come together to enjoy an evening of elegance and fun. These events are a mix of formal tradition and high-energy celebration, filled with music, dancing, and a chance to unwind after the weighty moments of the day. The history of inaugural balls dates back to 1809, when James Madison's presidency kicked off the tradition with a ball organized by his wife, Dolly Madison. Since then, the tradition has grown, with multiple balls held across Washington, D.C., each more elaborate than the last. They are a mix of patriotism and pageantry, bringing together people from all walks of life to mark the start of a new administration. For the 2025 inauguration, the lineup includes the Commander-in-Chief Ball, which honors military members and their families, and the Liberty Ball, where attendees can enjoy a performance by none other than the Village People. There's also the Starlight Ball, a more exclusive event for key supporters and donors. These celebrations are more than just parties. They're a way to unite the nation in a moment of shared joy and optimism. If you've ever dreamed of witnessing a U.S. presidential inauguration in person, the good news is that it is possible. But you'll need to plan ahead. The swearing-in ceremony is open to the public, but you'll need a ticket to secure a spot. These tickets are free and distributed through your local congressional representative or senator. The catch? They're in high demand and go fast, so you'll need to act early. Keep an eye on announcements from your member of Congress, as many begin accepting requests months in advance. But what if you can't snag a ticket or make the trip to Washington, D.C.? Don't worry, you can still experience the excitement from the comfort of your home. Every part of the inauguration, from the swearing-in to the parade and even the inaugural balls, is broadcast live on TV and streamed online. It's an incredible way to feel like you're a part of the action without dealing with the crowds or braving the cold weather. But wait, have you ever thought about how much planning goes into a presidential inauguration? It's not something that just comes together overnight. It's a massive operation that takes months, even years to organize. The Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, or the JCCIC, is at the heart of it all. They're the ones who oversee every detail, from setting up the stage for the swearing-in ceremony at the Capitol to arranging the traditional luncheon that follows. Imagine coordinating seating, sound systems, schedules, and even the weather contingencies. Nothing is left to chance. But it's not just about logistics. Security is a huge part of the preparation. With hundreds of thousands of people attending, safety is a top priority. Multiple agencies, including the Secret Service, Department of Homeland Security, and local law enforcement, work together to ensure that everything runs smoothly. They handle everything from crowd control to monitoring threats, and their efforts often start long before Election Day. Presidential inaugurations aren't just ceremonies, they capture the nation's spirit and evolve with the times. Their history is full of fascinating moments that reflect changing traditions and the story of America itself. Did you know that Andrew Jackson's 1829 inauguration was so chaotic that he had to escape through a window? Yep, after his swearing-in, Jackson opened the White House to the public for a celebration. But the crowd became so unruly that it spilled over into the house, breaking furniture and spilling drinks everywhere. It was democracy in its most energetic, if messy, form. Fast forward to 1865, and we see a moment of profound historical importance. During Abraham Lincoln's second inauguration, African Americans participated in the inaugural parade for the first time. This was a bold and symbolic statement during the waning days of the Civil War, reflecting a nation on the brink of change and emphasizing Lincoln's vision for unity. Then there's Ronald Reagan's 1981 inauguration, which introduced a practical change with a huge impact. The ceremony was moved from the Capitol's East Front to the West Front, a decision that provided a more expansive view for spectators. The iconic backdrop of the National Mall, with the Washington Monument and Lincoln Memorial, became a new hallmark of modern inaugurations. The presidential inauguration is so much more than a formal ceremony or a day of festivities. It represents something profound, the unity and continuity of a nation. No matter who is taking the oath, the inauguration is a powerful reminder that the U.S. government doesn't rely on a single person. Leadership changes, but the principles of democracy endure. It's a moment when the nation pauses to honor its democratic process and the peaceful transfer of power, a hallmark of stability in a world where such transitions are not always so smooth. And it's not just Americans who pay attention. The inauguration is a global event, watched by millions around the world. It's a showcase of how democracy works, imperfect at times, but enduring and inspiring. So while it is a big day for the president, it's also a big day for everyone else. A moment to reflect on the principles that bind us all and the hope for a brighter future ahead. So now you know what happens during a U.S. presidential inauguration. It's a day packed with tradition, history, and the celebration of democracy. Next time January 20th rolls around, you'll understand why it matters so much, and maybe even tune in to witness history in the making. Hey, if you're enjoying this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and check out other videos on your screen for more fascinating stories and insights. Your support means the world to us, and there's plenty more to explore. Stay curious.